Did you see the trailer of him in Mortal Kombat? Where he does his arm thing.
Oh yeah.
And then the sword thing where he's like,
Yeah.
That's dope.
yeah,
That's dope. I like when they pay homage like that.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
And Mortal Kombat's one of those series that you can do that. Like, if you're
Man,
just
it's
gonna throw a
wild the
character
characters
in.
that they be thrown in there, right? Because
Yeah.
they were like Ninja Turtles. I was like, that's weird, but all
Freddy
right.
versus Jason,
Yeah, and they just
Alien versus Predator.
they just kept throwing them in. I was just
Terminator.
like, is this for real? Like,
Yeah.
how are they doing
And
this?
then Joker.
Yeah. I mean,
They also
they're
threw
cool.
in Joker. Just the Joker. No other DC characters.
Just
It's
Joker.
like, just Joker? Yeah, so Joker can fight Alien.
All right, welcome everybody to the Room Upstairs podcast. This is the podcast where we battle out remakes and reboots against the originals, which we will be doing today with Robin Hood 1991 versus Robin Hood, The Adventures of Robin Hood.
Wait,
Robin
what?
Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Prince of Thieves.
I thought we were doing Men in Tights.
Oh no, not again.
No.
Robin
You
Hood.
finally
Prince
watched the
of
Taron
Thieves.
Egerton one.
Yeah.
Wait, we're not doing that one either?
No.
I did the Taron Egerton one and Men in Tights.
Always an episode behind.
You guys need to start sending me what we're doing.
Start answering your phone.
So we are going to be battling Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, the 1991 Kevin Costner movie, versus the 1938
Yes.
Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn movie. So that's going to be pretty fun.
1938. Isn't that the same year Superman debuted?
Is it?
Pretty sure.
That's wild.
I don't know. I feel like it was 37.
No, you're wrong.
I might be.
Action Comics number 1, 1938.
Okay. Sounds good.
Don't know.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Fact check.
Fact check.
Correct.
Action Comics,
Confirmed.
issue number 1, 1938.
Yep.
So before we get to all that, go ahead and subscribe to our channel if you're watching us on YouTube, or if you're listening, we're on YouTube. You can go and check us out there. Find us on any of the socials. The Room Upstairs podcast. My name, by the way, is Bird, and I'm here with my hosts.
I am the TallBeing. We're all sick right now.
Yeah. Hayden Evans.
Mephisjoe.
Sith.
And we welcome you. We welcome you to the Room Upstairs. So, okay, first of all, Happy New Year. This is our first official
Is it?
episode.
Yeah, we're
Of
so
the
energetic.
January?
We're so energetic
January's almost over
It is almost over, but it's our
Yeah.
first official episode.
because we're mostly healthy.
Right.
right now.
Mostly. We
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
We can't get each other sick, so that's why we're all together.
Yeah, exactly.
It works out. We haven't done this for a while, but we have a Conan update.
Happy New Year.
Thanks. Conan update. Right here.
Look at this.
Yeah. For non YouTube listeners,
It's not Tuma.
it isn't a tumor, true.
This
We
dude-
have here the King Conan action figure in all of its glory.
By Super 7.
Yeah.
It was gifted to me by Hayden for Christmas.
Yeah.
Nice. His true brother-in-law.
My true brother-in-law, yeah.
The brother-in-law from another mother.
It was given to me by Mephisjoe for Christmas, and I'm very thankful. He's so cool.
I actually
Conan
found it.
is-
I actually found it in a dumpster.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. It was
That
new
was-
in
that
It was
was
box.
on sale because
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it don't matter. It was in the box. It looked new to me.
Yeah.
Both the heads were in there. You know, he's
It
got
came with 2 heads?
It
It
came
was-
with 2 heads.
It was outside one of those FYE
He's got his
stores.
little holster. So he's going to be joining the podcast now. He'll be here. That's our Conan. Actually, the real Conan update is that Conan is actually available on Mortal Kombat now to play. So if you got
Yeah.
the new Mortal Kombat game, you can actually pick Conan the
He's
Barbarian.
he's
too.
pretty mean.
Which Conan is it?
Conan the Barbarian.
No, but I mean like the.
It's Arnold.
Oh, it's Arnold.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
Arnold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Was it? Yeah. If they did the one-off Jason Momoa, I'd be pretty furious.
Well, I mean, they could have gone like
It's like he doesn't even talk
Book
about that movie
accurate.
yeah, they could have
anymore.
done comic book.
They
or
could've done
whatever.
book
Yeah.
accurate.
No, they went Arnie.
They like going real actors, like when they did Rambo and stuff, and
Who?
they did Arnie
Was
actually.
there a comic to base Rambo off of?
No, but they also already did an Arnie Terminator in
Yeah.
one of the games. So like he's been in Mortal Kombat a lot, actually.
So, all right. Well, that's our Conan update. Let's go ahead and get into some stuff we watched before we get into our battle.
Yeah, what did you guys watch this week? Or I guess it's been way more than a
Oh
week
yeah.
now.
So December was a lot of stuff for me. Finished Dune Prophecy. It was all right. I feel like if you're not a huge like diehard Dune fan, I feel
Dune?
like Dune. I feel like if
Dune?
you're not a diehard Dune fan, you can kind of skip this show.
But
It-
if you're a
it is-
hardcore Benny Gesserit fan, you should watch it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's rated mature, so there's some content throughout that's very like Game of Thrones. It's definitely not PG-13 like the movies, and so I honestly, if you're not a huge Dune fan, I would just kind of skip this.
Yeah, HBO won't even show stuff unless it's rated mature.
Yeah, it's kind of it's very pointless.
They're like, is there nudity? You're like, wow, a little bit.
Yeah,
Green light.
yeah.
Green light.
It's very pointless, and they could edit it out very easily. So this was very much was them just fighting for something that wasn't needed.
VidAngel, bro.
So it's hard for me to promote it, but it is cool
But
with
you
the
are.
lore stuff, and it's only really two episodes. But I don't know. I did watch it.
There's only two episodes out?
No, there's only 2 episodes that are problematic. But on a lighter note, Skeleton Crew on Disney Plus was so much fun. It just finished. It was a really good feel-good Star Wars movie. Goonies.
But there's no
feel-
skeleons in it, so
Well, yeah,
That's
I don't feel like I can watch it.
yeah. I mean, there's some skeletons in it.
That's okay.
Yeah, okay. So, but it was really good, really fun. It didn't anger me. As a complicated Star Wars fan, there's stuff that makes me mad, stuff that makes me happy. This was a fun show. Jude Law kills it, and the whole kid cast kills it. They did an amazing job. Fun show.
And
I've
Wolfman's got
I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on that show.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people that are like, "Oh, it's too kiddie," and I'm like, "Okay."
Right.
I mean,
Have you watched Star Wars?
yeah, I'm sorry. Like, as a conservative
We
dad,
love Ahsoka Tano.
yeah. I mean, as a conservative dad, I found it really fun. So it's like,
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're
sorry,
a
I didn't have
conservative-
nudity in it.
if
Like,
you're a
Doom,
conservative
props
dad,
to-
it's going to be great.
yeah. Well, if you're a kid, Star Wars fan, I think everyone should try to watch this if they're a Star Wars fan.
All right. Well, I just watched the 14th book of The Wheel of Time, which is technically the last in the main series, and it was amazing. It was really great. I think I gave it a 5 on Goodreads.
Nice.
And I was going to read something else, but I was like, you know what? Might as well just knock this whole series out. So I'm reading the 14th. Wait, did I say the 14th?
You
The
said
15th. 15th, which is technically the prequel, right? So, like, you don't really have to read it because you kind of know where everybody's at. But, you know, might as well finish off the boxes, right?
Yeah.
I also watched Sonic the Third. Spoiler warning: Sonic wins.
Wow.
Oh, can't believe you. did
And
that.
Sonic 4 has already been
That's
greenlit
so
and dated.
Yeah.
But do they live and learn?
Are you done with yours?
Yeah, that's all I
Okay,
watched.
because you mentioned Donatello. I watched 4 episodes of the new.
Is it
Ninja
good?
the
Don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Is it good?
haven't
That's all I want to
started
know.
yet. Don't say anything.
Is it good?
You can say it's good. Don't spoil it, though.
It's bad.
Do I
Spoiler
say
alert.
something or do I not say something? There's mixed signals.
I'm
here.
nervous. Say something. I want it to be good so bad.
Is it worth your time?
I'm gonna keep watching it. I'll say that.
Yeah. Okay.
I watched it with my 5-year-old. She enjoyed it. She's been asking me to watch it again. We haven't been able to, but we watched the first 4 episodes. It was fun.
Yeah, there's no Superfly in it though, so it kind of like it's hard for
what's
me.
the point?
Well, he's
I love
dead.
Superfly. He's like
Yeah.
my favorite. You
But
know,
he's dead, though.
is he? Does anybody stay dead?
I don't know. It's Ninja
No one
Turtles.
except Uncle Ben.
Yeah. Splinter didn't stay dead.
So that's one of the things I've watched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a whole list here. I'm just gonna run through them, just
Yeah,
because.
let's go.
Because
Speed run, go.
I think this is funny because out of all these things that I've watched, and I'm not even going to mention all the ones that I've watched. Only one of them is going to count for the actual podcast and for the
Fair.
award show at the end of the year.
All right, go. Let's hear
Okay.
it. Speed run.
All right, Bob Marley, One Love,
What?
Mean Girls the musical,
Why?
no, we'll get there eventually.
Empire Records.
Oh, please don't.
Okay, no, that one counts.
That one does count. You're right. Killer Heat. Do you guys know that movie? Killer Heat.
But you won't watch Skeleton Crew?
Just-
I don't
Do you know Killer Heat?
Keep going, bird.
Let me look it up. Maybe I'll remember it.
Edge of 17, which is an old movie, right?
Oh, that one counts too.
You watch that one too?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh, well, see, we got a few movies that are going to be added to the list.
okay.
Back to Black, the Amy Winehouse story.
I didn't watch that one.
Okay.
I wonder why you watched that one.
Perks of Being a Wallflower.
That one's good.
That one will count eventually.
All right. You're good.
And I'm on season 3 of Superman and Lois.
Okay. All right.
And Juror number 2.
Yeah, that one counts.
All right.
You also watched Lost Boys.
Did you watch the
And we
Rural
watched Lost
Juror?
Boys finally. Huh?
Rural Juror?
Rural Juror?
Yeah, rural juror.
No, I don't know what that is.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, I'm glad you tried to say it because I was like, "What is he saying?" Because this is my bad ear, so I'm like, and then you went, and I was like, "I don't know what you guys are doing over there."
You ever watch the show 30 Rock?
Oh, it's been forever.
It's a 30 Rock joke. Like they came out with a movie called Rural Juror, and like whenever somebody says it, they like mumble like "rrr," like
okay,
because it's so hard to say.
That's funny.
The Rural Juror.
No,
that's funny.
It's like the Office movie. What was that one called? Do you remember?
The Office.
Threat Level Midnight.
Threat Level Midnight. That was awesome.
I thought you were talking about Office Space for a second. I was like,
he's like ready.
it's got
set.
nothing to do, man.
Super easy to say.
He's like ready, set, die. It's just like
Anyway, so that's a small list of the movies I've watched so far.
Yeah.
most of those were good.
I mean, some of them were just like because I watched most of them with my girls. Like I said,
I watched some of them.
You're a good dad.
Some of them weren't. Yeah,
Bert, you're a good dad, man.
Thanks. Yeah, Mean Girls was rough.
He needed that.
Mean Girls was rough.
You're an awesome dad.
We'll get to it when we do that podcast episode. It's all right.
Yeah.
I'll be sick that episode.
No, we're definitely gonna battle out Mean Girls.
I'll be sick.
So I'll get the girls in here then.
There you
Do
go.
it.
Hey.
All the mean ones.
There you go. So what'd you watch?
So I watched Lost Boys with you. That was
Hey.
cool. That was fun. Yeah, that was a fun movie. I like that one.
Good soundtrack.
By popular demand, I finally watched Empire Records.
Yeah.
That was a
Was there a demand?
good movie. Good. Yeah,
well, from us
internally there was some.
because I showed it to the girls. I was like, because we watch movies sometimes when he's like, I'm gonna go read. I'm a nerd.
I had. It's a big book, okay? It took like 3 weeks.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But
That's for his other podcast.
He's
Basement
preparing.
downstairs.
He's
Yeah.
preparing for his
Downstairs,
writing
for
and
sure.
all that. You know,
Yeah.
so it's good. He's got a priority. That's good. So I'll watch stuff with the girls. I was like, all right, you girls got to watch this one. You'll love this movie.
Mhm.
And I threw it on for them, and they were like all over it. They watched it again, like
The next day.
was it the next day? I think
What?
twice. They watched it. Yeah.
I've seen Empire. It's fine. It's not. I got for me.
Yeah.
It's not like.
Yeah, it's not the best
Midnight
movie ever
Madness.
made. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Like I
Hey,
finished
you didn't
it.
even mention that you watched that movie.
I finally watched Midnight Madness.
Yeah.
I watched it at midnight.
And he admitted to me before we got in here that the hype was real.
Okay. TallBeing.
Yeah. I appreciated Empire Records. It was fun. It's fun. It wasn't my absolute favorite like it was the girls, but I
Yeah.
can very much see why it was for them.
Yeah, I mean, some of the top movies for the girls is Empire Records now, Almost Famous,
Yeah.
Pitch Perfect. So like, if it's music related,
They're real into
yeah,
it.
they like it.
You should start making them watch some stuff that like is like the opposite, like the newer Rollerball. You know, like just
Well, look,
terrible movies.
What was that movie that we were talking about? And then Ev was like, "Yeah, I seen that movie,
12 Monkeys?
12 Monkeys."
Well, monkeys. Why was she watching?
That's what I'm
She's like
saying.
everybody went to bed. It was on. Like,
She watched it with me.
oh wow,
Like she has watched some movies.
it's like psychological trauma, man.
She's watched some wild movies.
She watched
with-
Daredevil before I did.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah.
The show.
Yeah.
So
That's because she's so quiet. You
I
don't
mean,
know
the
if she's
show
there.
has some
You know?
moments. Yeah.
You like glance over. You're like, you're still here. You should be watching this.
Yeah.
I don't know
Try
that
to
she
hustle
really
her out of the
watched Daredevil though. She probably watched some of the scenes, but not really.
Yeah, I didn't watch
I
it.
got
Yeah.
She's small.
I got
She's small.
Yeah, but like, there's some movies that I'll be watching, and she'll be like, "What are you watching?" And she'll just sit and watch it with me. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Didn't expect her to
Yeah.
watch the Robin Hoods, and here we are.
yeah, exactly. So anyway,
Yeah, and then by unpopular demand, I watched Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
oh, you're the one that watched that. I
the
saw it
movie?
on Prime. Like you,
Yeah.
since you watched this movie, you should watch it. I was like,
It's
I
like,
never
who
watched that movie.
Yeah, that was
the
me. That was
movie,
me.
not
Yeah.
the animated show.
I haven't seen the show. no.
Okay.
What'd you think of the movie?
Movie? I get it now. I get it. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
Do you?
I enjoyed that one a lot.
I tried watching it a long time ago,
Yeah.
and I fell
It's
asleep.
very, very. it
You gotta finish that sentence, bro.
yeah, like it's just extreme in every scene. Like you gotta pay attention all
Yeah.
the time. It's constantly going to the next thing,
I love
which
the.
I appreciate. Very good soundtrack.
that's what I was about to say.
Yeah,
It was very anime, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's an old arcade game, like old arcade style game for it that
Mhm.
was on the Xbox, and it like the soundtrack stuff and the style of the movie fits with that too.
Mm.
And so it really is. It's almost like I don't know, man.
I mean, it's got a lot of video game themes in it.
Yeah,
Right.
It's just you either really love it or you just really hate it. You know, like
Yeah,
I think I'm
I
probably more
yeah.
in the love it category. I
I'm-
really enjoyed watching it.
it's one of those movies I've told people about and then showed them, and then like I don't even ask what their thoughts
Yeah,
are.
it's
Like you can
I
kind
know
of
you saw it.
you can kind of read their face, and you're like, all right, well, you pick the next one. Gosh,
it's like when you came in saying you watched Midnight Madness.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Like you guys were like, Hayden, like we can't read your face, and I'm like, I'm still processing. All right?
No, I
Edgar
knew
Wright
what
too,
you
right?
thought when you said you watched it. I knew, but I had to ask anyway.
What shocked me is that it was like Joe's #1 like movie of like his childhood.
Mhm.
And so I wish I almost didn't know that when I watched it, because I would have just watched it from a lens of like, enjoy this movie, not like analyze this movie
And figure out
on-
what's wrong with
To
Joe.
understand Joe psychologically.
How is this movie your brother's movie? And I was just like, oh, like
Nah, if you
So-
think about it, it makes a lot of sense.
I'll rewatch
I
it.
think so.
I'll
Yeah.
rewatch it.
He was like,
Yeah.
yeah, this blue, all the things that this blue team are doing.
That is Joe.
Like,
So, okay, so Blue Team. So like,
Blue Team
okay,
specifically, yes.
I get it now. All right. Okay, yeah.
I get it now.
Wow. You mean some, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gosh, dude. All right. I get it. So I was pretty much bullied in middle school from like Blue Team mostly from you.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. As
Very
I've gotten
enjoyable.
older, I've appreciated more and more the green team,
Yeah.
like the
The
drunk
meat
football-
wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're so funny, man.
Dude,
Because
when
that one dude, the one dude that like falls into the vat, he looks like he's like 40 years old.
it's not
Yeah, he does.
It's not Armpit. It's what's his name?
Blaylock?
Something like that.
I don't know.
They all had weird names like barbarian.
Well, they
names.
call them. It's their last names. They're calling each other by their last names.
Yeah.
A lot of
His last name is Armpit.
Well, not Armpit,
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So rest of
I'll
your
be
watches.
chanting all the time too.
Oh, that's what I watched. I watched like
Hey,
3 things.
but Scott Pilgrim, that's Edgar Wright as well, right?
yes,
Right.
that's
It
the main
is.
reason I watched
That's-
it.
yeah, I would
I
say
was like,
that's-
I'm
If
starting
only
my Edgar
to
Wright
if only
run
to
right
get the
now.
Edgar Wright stuff out from under you, like you kind of got to watch it.
Yeah.
It's no Shaun of the Dead, and
Yeah,
it's no
not Baby Driver.
Baby Driver, yeah.
I
But
really,
it's still
yeah, I
it still
appreciated
has
it a lot.
his seal of like I mean just style, you know.
Yeah.
Fun cast too.
Yeah, it was a really
Yeah.
good cast.
Okay.
Well, you move on to news.
That's yeah.
To news. Yeah,
Yes,
let's
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a couple trailers that
Which
came
ones?
out. Superman.
Yep.
Ooh.
It's been out for a while
It's
now.
been out for a while,
Yeah,
but we
yeah,
never got
this
to
is
talk
late.
about it.
This is late.
There's a dog.
Do you want to just go down the line and everyone give their thoughts?
Sure, but let's make it quick because
All right.
it's
Let's
been out
do
for a
it.
while.
Let's do
There's
it.
a dog in it.
There's
Nice.
a dog in it.
Love it.
I'm so pumped for this movie, man.
You're not. It's not your turn.
Oh, he said love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
you
was-
can't
that was
skip
it.
the line.
You
Okay,
said
it's your
has a
turn.
dog
Okay,
in
hold on.
it.
All right, hold on.
All right.
Love it. Been talking it up on Instagram and the socials a lot. So if you really want to know what I think, go there.
Yeah.
Go
yeah.
ahead.
I still love it. I'm really pumped for this. Sorry, I thought you would because he said has a dog in
I
it.
did-
You
I
said
did.
love it, so I was trying to keep it quick.
I know. I
All
know.
right.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it looks really cool.
We wasted
That was
more
worth
time.
it. Worth it.
Congratulations.
I was trying to be quick.
I just want to see this whole Lex Luthor.
Daredevil.
This has not been out as long.
New one, the new trailer.
The only thing I see online like about is people like, oh, but that scene where he's yelling, it's gonna be so good. And I'm like, that's a weird thing to
I love yelling scenes.
glom onto. You
That's
know?
how it goes. It's like yelling scenes, hallway fight scenes, like no.
Yeah. Yeah. Costumes.
Punisher.
Punisher
yeah,
down
Punisher.
here, yeah.
Yeah.
He does have a lot of costumes in that show.
Yeah.
Which is crazy for a blind man.
It
Like,
is.
do you care?
Yeah. Yeah.
From
which-
a guy that wore
Well,
just
it's-
black
he might-
rags
Yeah.
he
most
might
of
as
his.
well. He might as well just have the same costume, like Batman. You
He's
know?
turning into Iron Man. He's like, which suit did I need for
Right.
which criminal?
He shows up in a green suit and he's like, you can't see all the blood. Like, bro, we can see all the blood.
Dang it, did I pick the green one again?
No, but for real, I'm hyped for this.
I'm
one,
still
too.
hyped. I
I'm
I
high.
don't know why he needs suits because he's street level, man.
Well, he needs
You know-
suits. He needs a suit.
A suit.
He needs
Yeah,
armor.
what if his
One
pants rip?
suit,
No, what
but-
if his pants rip? He needs to get another suit.
Yeah.
So he has his pants.
Okay, I'm just saying he's street level, like how like Peter Parker as Spider-Man has the one suit, like, and he's just always fixing it and stuff because he's street level. He's not like
That's
Tony
because he's a
Stark.
teenage boy, bro.
All right.
He's a
Yeah,
lawyer.
Murdoch is a lawyer.
He's a.
Yeah,
he's
I
got.
He's
don't-
got money.
Okay.
I don't know that he needs multiple colors. All right, what do you think?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I like the trailer. I like that it's based around a conversation entirely.
Yeah.
Like that just feels very Daredevil-y because it's about the one-on-one conversations as much as it is the fight scenes.
Right.
So having that be the start and the end and breaking up all
I think
these
it's
action things.
Daredevil-ish.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
Right.
I appreciate that a
It's
lot.
like him having
It
all
was
those
it was a
suits.
good trailer.
Yeah. If that is what we're getting from the show, then I'm in.
Right.
Plus, Muse just is an inherently crazy concept for a character, and I'm interested to see if they just take it to edginess for edginess' sake, or if they try to do something with it.
Well, I'm learning about Muse. I'm learning about White Tiger, who's also supposed to be in it,
I forgot White Tiger is in this.
and then of
White
course we have what's his name, Bullseye in there again.
Yeah.
I'm still excited.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still excited. I don't know. I feel like I'm more pumped for Superman. But I think I'll get more pumped to Daredevil like closer we get.
Well,
Yeah,
March is blocked off for Daredevil. July is blocked off for Superman and Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And,
May we get
Of course,
Thunderbolts.
And Thunderbolts is May. Yep.
I care about Thunderbolts.
And
the most.
and February is
Captain America.
Captain
I
America.
forgot about that.
Yeah, coming up.
so good
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Good year for movies.
Marvel, man, they're just
Yeah. I mean, they have all these shows that they finished or half finished, and they just had to release. So they're like, "Oh, I guess now we're doing it. Here's a Spider-Man show.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch that.
I'm gonna give it a shot, just because I like Spider-Man.
Right. All right. What else we got?
That's all I have.
Oh, okay. Are we gonna get into the battle then?
Let's do it.
Unless you got something else.
what?
Okay.
Say Doom?
What?
You say Doom?
Let's get to our main battle today. Robin Hood, let's do the tail of the tape.
Tail of the tape.
All right.
Ba-da-da-da.
So it is The Adventures of Robin Hood from 1938,
38.
a 1 hour and 42 minute
Crazy year.
movie, rated PG, directed by Michael Curtis and William Keighley. Music was done by Eric Wolfgang Korngold, and it stars, what is it, Errol Flynn, Alan Hale, Olivia de Havilland,
Cheetah.
Melvin Cooper, and Claude Rains. And it's going up against Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves from 1991, which is a 2 hour and 17 minute epic story.
I got 2 words for you.
Rated-
Brian Adams.
Rated PG-13.
I made a note.
Directed by Kevin Reynolds. Music by Michael Kamen. Stars Kevin Costner, Morgan Freeman, Mary Mastrantonio, Alan Rickman, and Christian Slater.
I like to look at this movie as if it's like a sequel to The Postman. Right? Like we've just gotten to a point where like society has continued to collapse.
Yeah, and then Waterworld is the third one.
That's right.
Which
And
Waterworld was Kevin Reynolds.
the
The Costner trilogy.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That's awesome. I like that.
That's weird.
Unofficial trilogy.
Yeah.
And people are like, why did we switch to England? This took place in the United States.
But Kevin Costner's
Well, now it's a
accent,
Waterworld.
His-
It's like they just flooded it. It's like makes no sense.
his accent never changes, though.
Yeah.
That's why I'm legit. This is why we should have been doing Men in Tights, because Carrie Ellis would be like ragging on him hardcore for that. Unlike some other Robin Hoods.
Yeah.
We'll get to the karaoke version.
Yeah, I think there was enough similarities in these two films that I think it was a smart move to pair these two up.
Right. Okay, so you want to do your overall thoughts right now?
You
Of
want
each
me
movie?
to start?
Sure.
You could start. Sure.
This was a fun watch.
Which one?
Both. Like
Okay.
this was a fun episode to prep for. I grew up watching the Prince of Thieves movie.
He grew up terrified of Errol Flynn.
Yeah. Loved it. I have a buddy, shout out to Luke, that loves the Errol Flynn version, and he all the time was like, dude, you need to watch this, you need to watch this. So finally,
Fun fact: first time I met Luke, he was dressed like Errol Flynn. For a
yes. So I like finally getting to watch the Errol Flynn.
It was Halloween.
Finally getting to watch the Errol Flynn Robin Hood. It was great, and so like I feel like this is going to be a close match.
Okay.
For me, I'm not going to say who I think should win or who I want to win because I liked both of them. I think we finally have an episode where it's going to be like the winner wins. There's no obvious, like, this isn't Aladdin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chicken dinners.
Yeah. I think this is gonna be a fun episode.
Yeah, this is I think it's gonna be closer than the last Robin Hood battle we did with Crow and
Yeah,
Egerton. That was a close battle because there was big problems.
Well,
with
that
both of
one
them.
felt like a Fast and Furious movie, so
Right. Yeah. So I think it's gonna be a closer battle. I remember the '91 version like being huge.
Yeah.
I remember watching it and I did like it. It was like everywhere. Like you said earlier, the Bryan Adams song, like that song was a hit.
Also
And
produced by Michael Kamen.
yeah.
Did you have the action figures?
I didn't have the action figures, which were Star Wars figures. Did you know
Yeah.
that?
So I had like the treetop kind of like the treehouse little
The Ewok
battle
house.
like
Yeah.
play set.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the figures. I got the play set at like a garage sale.
Nice.
I was hoping you were gonna
So
be
I
like,
would use it for
it
different
was my
figures.
dad's. Like, he bought it in '91. He's like, here you go, son.
Yeah. When he had me, he was like, "You're gonna like Robin Hood." Like, it wasn't like that. But I had like the little treehouse.
Is that why you had that mullet growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming back, man.
I know. It always does. It's like a boomerang, man.
Yeah. But you remember it being a big thing
Oh, for
in
sure.
'91.
Yeah, for sure.
was
And it was like my Robin Hood.
Yeah.
That's when I think of Robin Hood. That's the movie I would think.
Same.
So whenever we talked about the sheriff in the past two movies, it's a completely different sheriff than it is
Oh,
here,
yeah.
and it was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
The Errol Flynn version, never seen. This was my first time watching it. I did enjoy that one as well. So the categories are gonna actually like
They'll matter a lot.
It'll it'll pull out who's gonna.
Because like there were some things I was like, this is real rough. All in all, though, like they both have their strengths.
Yeah.
And I'm with him. Like, dude, it was inescapable in the early '90s. That Bryan Adams song, for years after I think was inescapable. And like even when I went to watch it with my wife, like she was like, "Where's the shot?" You know, like the shot where he's like shooting the bow and like there's the fire behind him. Like we'll get there.
It's
and,
coming.
yeah, and it happens, right? You see it. Like we even watched the preview before we watched it, just like for that little nostalgic kick.
Oh, the trailer?
Yeah. And so it was fun watching. I watched the Errol Flynn one while I was super sick. So, and the whole time, I mean, it was good. I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, but watching it again, I was like, oh yeah, there's some things about this that are real funny, and you can tell. I feel like it's like when we talked about Wolfman, like you can see how cinematography has changed and storytelling in movies has changed. And so like, but it does have some strengths that I think we could also talk about. But I'm interested to see how it squares up.
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to get slightly like apathetic against Robin Hood movies. I've watched too many of these. It's too close of a time span.
That's why I left
no
it for last.
connection to any of them.
Right.
So for me, it's just here's 4 Robin Hood movies.
So like we're like really pumped into this episode, and you're like, this homework, like
Yeah.
Oh
so
man,
it wasn't his dad pushing Robin. It's me pushing it on him.
yeah.
You're gonna like Costner.
That said, it's been really fun doing all of these, and I think these were the 2 best Robin Hood movies.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll
so
change your mind.
far.
Yeah,
You'll
so
change your
far,
mind.
So far,
You're
we
gonna
still
love
have-
Men in Tights.
We still have 2 classics.
One, you are gonna love Men in Tights. Let's not forget that Chappelle's in it. And 2, the animated one is
The
Chef's
Disney
kiss.
movie.
Yes.
Oh man.
I've seen the first half of the Disney movie, but I've never seen the second half. So that'll be a fun experience for me. Anyway. I liked them both. I liked them both.
Okay.
Like that's about all I can really say right now. They like you guys just kind of already talked about it. They both have strengths, both have weaknesses. I kind of made sure we can talk about some of those in every category.
Mhm.
So we can get into that now if you want.
Okay.
To.
Well, let me do. I want to do a fun fact on Prince of Thieves.
Okay.
Well, one was the Star Wars thing.
I got
was
quite a
pretty
few.
fun. But it was the highest grossing movie of 1991.
What else came out in '91?
Terminator 2: Judgment Day.
You serious?
Yeah. That's how big this movie was, which is crazy, especially once we get talking about it. Because there's some things I really don't understand about how that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I already said I like them
Nah,
both, but
here's the deal. You got to remember, like,
Was
this was-
Terminator 2 rated R?
it was, but listen, this was the
Yeah, that
Costner
was-
era, right? Like,
Yeah.
because Costner had like Field of Dreams
Mhm.
and
Waterworld.
like The Postman was like
Yeah.
kind of hit or miss. Waterworld was kind of a major flop. That was like kind of at the end of this whole thing.
We'll talk about that.
But like he had there was a
We'll do
period
that
there.
remake battle.
I love Waterworld.
There was a period there where like everything he was doing was like really big,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And this was kind of right in the midst of that, like, and so he definitely. I think that definitely contributed to the
Sure.
success of it, and I'm gonna say that song probably too. Like,
Yeah, Brian Adams.
yeah, Crying Brian.
Brian, Brian.
Plus, Morgan Freeman was in it.
Yeah,
Which
Christian
he wasn't.
Slater.
He wasn't the name that he is today.
Right. He wasn't. He was
Yeah.
still coming up.
He was
but-
getting there.
Say
yeah.
Christian Slater before Alan Rickman.
Now,
Christian
unfortunately,
Slater.
unfortunately for Christian Slater, like at this point, I think he was already like fading from popularity,
Yeah.
right? But Rickman,
But Alan
But then he
Rickman
did
was.
Broken Arrow with John Travolta.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
No
that
one
really-
watched it
that
except
really brought
me.
him back.
Yeah.
that was a good movie.
All right. So a couple fun taglines that the Adventures of Robin Hood had.
Okay.
Ooh,
Um,
movie taglines.
The Costner one didn't really have. It was just like fighting for justice, and I was like, all right, that's not fun. But the Avengers.
General one.
The Avengers ones had a couple good ones.
Grab your bow and let's go.
Okay.
It's just like, what?
That's so much better.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of these focus on the fact that it's in Technicolor, which
Okay.
is the funny part to me. I think that's why I found them so enjoyable, because it's like
I'm so excited.
we've got movies in color now.
Yeah,
Yeah, Will Scarlett's really gonna pop.
Yeah.
It got in color before this podcast.
So all right, a Technicolor triumph. That's
Okay.
that's one of them, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Only the rainbow can duplicate its brilliance.
It's like it's Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Color now paints their dashing deeds to live for the ages.
All right.
It was
And this
technical.
was just a regular tagline. Riding with action, throbbing with romance,
Throbbing?
breathless with thrills,
Hey, I don't think it had the same connotation as it
glorious
does
with the
these
magic of
Neither did rainbows.
glorious with the magic of 1938.
days.
So, all right, let's go. Category number one.
All right. Category number
How many
one.
do we have?
We got 9.
9 categories.
You
Okay.
gotta cut this stuff down, man.
Yeah.
That is cut down.
Yeah, this is cut down.
Joe's already ready to leave. Hold on. What time is it? What's the timestamp?
wanna-
Joe's
you-
already ready to leave.
Listen, I get up early.
I know.
All right. Well, let's go. Let's do this.
All right.
All right. First one. Robin Hood as a main protagonist. I also have immediately after this Robin Hood as an adaptation of Robin Hood,
Oh, okay.
like his Robin Hoodiness, but just as a character and protagonist. After what we ran into the last time we did this episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we doing a half point?
No, because it's we just count up the points at the end.
Okay. That was only for the tournament.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I was about to say, I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's unusual.
What?
We had just done the tournament for so long.
Listen, I thought we.
Yeah,
I
2
thought there was a
years.
reason his name was Half Point Hayden.
I feel like we were in Azkaban.
All right, so let's go ahead and start here, and we'll go down the line. So, protagonist, best protagonist, Robin Hood.
Yeah. What's the question again?
I just
No, he said he broke it up in 2. There's 2 different things going on.
Yes.
Right.
So right now we're doing Robin Hood as a protagonist, so just as a character, not his Robin Hoodiness necessarily, because that'll be after
so
this.
next one is best adaptation.
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, I think I'm gonna give this one to Errol Flynn because he'd be talking smack. You know what I'm saying? And I liked it. He was like, I mean, he was so cheerful and talking smack. And Kevin Costner can't do a British accent, which
Yeah.
you know,
Very obvious.
yeah. And quite honestly, you know, Kevin Costner wasn't even the most BA dude in there, like Morgan Freeman was. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give it to Errol Flynn.
both of them, or just the first?
This first one.
Okay.
There are 2 different categories. Right?
Yeah,
Yes, we'll do that one in a second. But let's do
Okay,
this
so
one
we'll
first.
go
He
down the line
said
with
he said he
protagonist.
split them, and that's part of the.
I know, but I thought we were going to vote both of them at the same
No,
time.
no, no.
No.
Okay. All right. So, as a protagonist, I also go with Errol Flynn.
Alright.
Same
Any
reasons.
reasonings? Or,
Same reasons. Yeah.
because he's straight gangsta.
Dude, the second he came in with that deer and was hitting people with it and then threw it on the table, I was like, oh, so this is the best Robin Hood.
Yeah, I love the
And
fact
that's 10 minutes into the film.
dude,
Yeah.
he rolled into a building,
Yeah.
let himself be surrounded.
And he's putting
And
his
then
feet
escape.
up.
Yeah.
Dude, he's
Oh, yeah.
putting
Yeah.
his feet up and he's like,
walking over the tables.
you
Yeah.
uppity English, whatever. Like, dude, he's sitting here. I mean, honestly, man, I was like, how have I never seen this? But he's hitting those dudes. So yeah, Errol Flynn for protagonist. Just because, I mean, yeah, you kind of root for that guy the whole movie. I mean, I rooted for Kevin Costner too, but like, there's points where there's other characters you're rooting for as
Yeah.
well.
Like when that fire thing is happening, he like
Yeah.
falls in. You're like, I hope he died.
Yeah, there's other characters you're rooting
Spoiler
for
alert.
in Prince of Thieves, but dude, Errol Flynn, that guy, that's so cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
he took
it-
the show.
it almost makes you a Robin Hood fan. Like, I know you're sick of Robin Hood,
Fanboy.
but this is like, I don't know, it's good.
made you a Robin Hood fanboy, huh?
Dude, I mean, he's just,
Like-
I want to fight someone with a deer.
Like we'll get some like the green tights you can wear on
Yeah.
Halloween.
Oh, I will, man.
Skin
Just
tight.
fighting people with
Yeah.
deer carcass.
Sexy.
Sexy Errol Flynn.
No, I'm also going Errol Flynn because
Yeah.
everything we've
Sweet.
talked about, sweet. Yeah, he's just cool.
Yeah.
He's
Oh, man.
cool when he needs to be, and it's just like
Just laughing at him.
yeah, just talking smack to whoever. Doesn't matter if he's friends with them or not. He's
Yeah.
talking smack to him.
Yeah, at some point I was like, I don't think Marion likes him because he's talking smack to her too. You know, like I don't know how this thing is supposed to be a romance.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
yeah.
the 30s. It's a different time.
But he doesn't let it get to him. Every time she makes a comment, he's like, we'll see. Like, that's the vibe he has.
Yeah.
We'll see.
He had a certain charm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's suave, dude.
Yeah, he was full of confidence.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Right out of the
Also,
gate.
the other thing I really appreciate is he felt out of all of the Robin Hoods that I've seen so far, and this is kind of getting into the next category,
Mhm.
but even just protagonists, like liking him as a character wise, he's just jovial.
mhm.
Like, that feels like a very Robin Hood thing, and just a very
Yeah.
heroic, like, I want to see this guy succeed because he's just happy.
Yeah. Like, this was, and hopefully you can back me up on this one. This is the first time where I've seen the similarities with Green Arrow in the comics.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, all the other guys, it was very Hawkeye-esque.
Yeah.
Like, these guys that have problems, have
He's
issues,
Batman
whatever.
with a bow.
This was the
Yeah.
first time where he's like, ha-ha! And you're just like, oh, dude, yeah, beat him up, dude. Yeah.
I
like,
hope you win.
yeah, there's 50 of them. You can take them, Robin.
Yeah, it's super swashbuckling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I like that
Okay.
a lot.
yeah, okay.
So go ahead.
Sweet.
And we'll come back this way then. Go ahead and vote
Yes.
for the Robin Hood.
Errol Flynn again.
Yeah.
Like, this is something. This is a weird issue with all of these movies except the Errol Flynn one. Is that it takes like half the runtime to get to the Robin Hooding,
Right.
Yeah.
and just 10 minutes in, he drops a deer carcass and just starts Robin Hooding
Yeah,
in the
right.
middle of this palace, and you're like, oh yeah, this is the guy.
Yeah.
Dude, even before that, like when he first bumps into the older dude and
Yeah.
he rescues him, he's like, I'm Robin Hood, man. Like,
Yeah.
let's do this.
What do you
Have
want
you
to
not read those books about me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah. So just as a Robin Hood, Errol Flynn.
He was the one.
Yeah, I mean his name is Arrow. What
Errol
else do you have to? What else do you have to have?
Errol.
It's close.
Yeah,
It was
I
close.
thought
close.
it was
Yeah.
Errol.
It is
Yeah.
Errol.
Errol.
Well,
Oh, Errol Flynn.
Errol Flynn also.
I mean, yeah, they didn't waste time with Origin.
yeah.
And I feel like it's kind of perfect that we've watched the other ones, then watched this one, because you already have this perception in your head, and now it just takes it up to an 11
Mhm.
of like, oh man, like yeah, yeah.
Robin
It's
Hood.
it's Errol Flynn, guys.
Errol Flynn. Yeah.
I disliked Kevin Costner's character sometimes.
Mhm.
Not all the time. There's some points where it's like, okay, we're trying something with him.
He
Yeah.
really liked it every time he was bathing or whatever. Every time he hit the water, man.
Eyes glued to the screen.
That's right.
So my choice.
Can I guess
Go ahead, guess.
Errol Flynn?
Why would you say that?
Because it's right.
Have you met him?
It's something about the Technicolor.
It pops.
It made that green really pop.
All of the magic of the rainbow.
No, dude, definitely Errol Flynn. I mean, the way he stands with like his hands,
Yeah.
not even on his hip, like in front,
Yeah.
kind of like it was this weird little pose that he would do, but like just super confident.
Like,
And like you're saying, he does it.
like I understand the Robin Hood in the Shrek movies now.
Right.
Like when he shows up, he's like, "Oh, merry man," and they all come in. Like I get it now, because all the other Robins, you're like, man, he's never been that, you know.
Yeah.
And now it's like,
Yes, he was.
He was that. He used to be that.
And I can definitely see how you're saying the Men in Tights version is a direct parody off of this movie.
Yeah.
Because they are wearing tights. They're up in the trees a lot. They're it's I could see it now.
They're up in those trees, man.
Yeah,
man, they're up in those trees.
they're living in those trees for sure. So yeah, definitely Errol. I mean, he just had the confidence, the brashness to like do a good Robin Hood.
Yeah, I'm also gonna give it to Errol. And like one of the things I wanted to point out was
so he's already at 8 points. We're 2 categories in.
he would be so optimistic and like so hopeful, and like though the other like the dude that played the sheriff would be like chewing scenery, like he's real serious and like that guy's legit acting. And I was like, all right, this guy's doing pretty good, right? We'll get to him, right? But every time Robin Hood came on, you're like, it's so hard to take you seriously as a bad guy when this dude is like jumping on tables. Yeah,
like got your nose, and just shoots 5 of his buddies, and then swings away.
Yeah, those dudes were in trees though.
All right, well, that was a full sweep.
In the trees.
I don't think we've ever had a full sweep like that.
No, that's 2 categories in a row.
We're 8 points already.
Yeah.
Adventures of Robin Hood.
All right, we'll be a little more divided on this one, I think.
Okay.
Le Sheriff de Nottingham.
Okay, yeah, because we
listen.
We got Rickman versus.
I'm going first.
Cooper.
Okay,
go first.
Rickman was freaking amazing. Like everything he did, like it's like he was like, it's like
and call off Christmas.
No, listen, yeah, it's like he showed up to set and he was like, oh, Costner's in this, and he just went hog wild, bro. Because like everything he does is so animated and over the top, and it works for this role. Like, and he's like, I kind of started to root for him, you know,
right?
Like the other guy, like I said, like it was hard to take him seriously because of how funny and optimistic Errol Flynn was, and quite honestly, he wasn't that menacing. Yeah. Right, like every time he showed up, I was like, "Oh, this guy's still in it." Like, I thought we killed him or something.
It came off like it's. Man, this ain't even his arch nemesis because no one can stand.
I felt the same way about Prince John, though.
Entertaining.
Yeah,
I felt the same way about Prince John. Every time Prince John showed up, I was like you guys aren't really bringing anything to this.
Yeah,
right. Like
it's like that's why there needed to be like 3 or 4 of them to balance out Errol Flynn. Because it just was. It wasn't fair. I can take on 50 of you while you're eating dinner. Like it doesn't matter.
Dude, Rickman, I was like, that guy is capable of anything.
Yeah.
Right. Like this guy.
He approaches a kid. It's like he's gonna kill this kid right now.
Dude, he was unhinged.
Because it was the opposite with the Costner movie, right? Like one Alan Rickman, and it takes Costner, Freeman.
He had the one guy that was creepy as all get out.
But didn't he kill him?
Yeah.
Right, like he killed him himself.
Yeah, he killed his own
which
dude.
was wild.
Yeah. I liked it.
Like that dude was a good character. He's like, you know what? You're stealing the show. You're out.
Yeah. That guy's he's in what's it called?
He's in a lot of movies.
Count of Monte Cristo, right? He's like the jailer. Yeah.
He's in a lot of movies. I had to look him up. Because I was like, that dude is creepy looking.
Yeah.
In every movie, most of the movies I looked up with it, he's in,
that dude.
He's playing a creepy guy. And I'm like, that guy got typecast, but also he made so much money off of being creepy looking.
But you know, like he was that good that Rickman was like, you dying, bro. Like
I'll do this movie if I could kill this character.
I think, but also it gives credence to like how dangerous Rickman is, though, right? If that guy you see him and you hear him and you're like, that guy's dangerous. And then Rickman just, in a psychotic rage, kills him. Yeah. You're like, all right, this guy's unhinged.
Yeah.
Like, he is dangerous in a way that dude was.
Like, there's a point where they're like, I think we need an Errol Flynn. Like, we're kind of outgunned here.
Because it was that scene when he killed him that I was like, okay, the sheriff in this movie is an actual threat.
Yeah. That was the heel turn of, like, we have a villain now,
right?
Like on our hands, not just like a
legitimate one, not like because in the other movies he was the bad guy too, but he was never like menacing like he was here.
Yeah. So, what's your vote?
My vote. So we're doing best sheriff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Rickman for sure.
Okay.
I liked Melvin Cooper's sheriff, but it was a more funny, and it's a more in line with the other Robin Hoods that we watch, where he doesn't really play a role.
Yeah, he's just
the sheriff.
Rickman's like spitting on himself and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Rickman was definitely the villain here.
I'll get to.
But Melvin Cooper's his sheriff was just really funny to me because he's like, he'll say things like, "Oh yeah, we tried to get him, but he just got away."
Yeah. Maybe we can trick him with a tournament. Like, it's like, come on.
Yeah, like he was clearly
they treated him like Dukes of Hazzard. Like, we'll get him eventually.
He was clearly a coward.
That scene where Errol Flynn is like leaving the castle or whatever, and he's like they're trying, he's trying to escape, bar the doors, and like the three guys shut the door and they're like trying to get out. That was hilarious.
That's what I'm saying. Like
that's a Robin Hood thing.
Yeah, like Errol Flynn was gonna win no matter what.
I like how we were talking about the sheriff and still just ended up talking about
Errol
Flynn.
All right, so Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman wins. Yeah. Now he was over the top.
Yeah, that's on purpose though. You can tell.
No, it was definitely on purpose. Actually, I mean, reading anything into the movie, into the making of the movie, like you see, he was purposely doing that.
I think he saw Costner walk on the set and was like, "Oh, Costner's in this." And
so I have some background on this that I was reading through. He turned down the role twice because he thought the script was boring.
Yeah.
And eventually they just told him, "You can do whatever you want if you can."
That's what I'm saying.
So he got to play this just unhinged sheriff character.
That's awesome.
So he was taking the original lines for the most part, but was purposely like overplaying certain parts of it and improvised a lot of the lines. So the "Cancel Christmas" he came up with just off the top. And "Carve your heart out with a spoon." He ad-libbed.
That line was so good.
Oh my god! Later, it cuts to him. And he's like, "Why a spoon, though?"
Yeah,
and then like, it's
more pain.
My wife loved the Christmas line. Yeah, and that spoon line is great.
Be glad I didn't use a spoon. Yeah,
Oh yeah, he got him back with. He had some comebacks.
Yeah. So you wanna go ahead?
Alan Rickman.
He's like, I don't even know why this is a category.
I didn't care about the other guy so much. I didn't even look up his name.
This category was best sheriff Rickman.
Yeah, it's Alan Rickman.
Cough.
I mean,
it's Alan Rickman,
and his evilness grew with the movie. Like starting out, you're like, all right, he's the sheriff. We know he's gonna be bad.
Yeah,
he's gonna be a problem.
He takes off the mask,
and then he just
keeps. Oh, there
he just keeps making choices where you're like, oh my gosh. And he's like, well, I'm gonna marry Mary and all this stuff, and they're trying to rush all that and that whole creepy thing. He finds out who his mom is and all that. Like his whole arc just got weirder and weirder. Like, but I was like, oh yeah, no, he's unhinged. He is unhinged.
Yeah, this is actually how villains are made.
Yeah, and so I digged it, man. So Alan Rickman.
Well, I will say one of my favorite parts for the Adventures of Robin Hood Sheriff is when they go to the tournament and they start closing in on Robin Hood, and you gotta see it, but he's in the background, with like all the noblemen and everything, and he just backs away, and the rest of them close up, so like he was never there. It was so funny.
I just like how that whole tournament, Errol Flynn's just shoving everybody, dude. Yeah. But he was like, I gotta get out of here. I mean, even people that were participating, he's just shoving them into the ground.
Women and children.
He's punching people, shoving them. It's like, whoa, those aren't even cards. He's like, get out of here. I'm Robin Hood, man. I was like, yeah, that dude, he's trying to bounce, man.
Yeah.
He knows what he's not wanted. He's like, I'm getting out of here.
All right, well, your vote.
Yeah, Alan Rickman. We sweep. We were not. It was never going to go the other way.
Man, we're gonna go sweeps on all of them. I think.
I do appreciate a lot of what the Adventures of Robin Hood did with the sheriff. Still keeping him as your main villain even up until the end, so that like his duel with Robin Hood, which is awesome, and we'll get to in a little bit. Is like that's the climax of the movie. Yeah, I like that we didn't abandon that.
Yeah.
Which it would have been very easy to be like, all right, and Robin Hood and Prince John or something.
Yeah.
But
it's almost like we didn't really care about this character the whole movie, but we care enough about Errol Flynn's Robin Hood. Like he needs a good sword fight.
Yeah. So he antagonizes in the bare minimum of ways, just to barely count. And I just think it's funny when they are at the tournament and someone says the line, what's the exact line? But they mention how subtle the plan is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's just so funny. Like, it's not the least bit subtle. We're gonna hold an archery tournament and give the winner a golden
I'm telling
arrow.
you, dude, it's like Dukes of Hazzard villains.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, we'll get
Because
him.
they're walking up, they're like, it's a trap. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm the best shot.
Yeah.
My girl's here. I'm not gonna
I'm
not
gonna
show
win.
up. My girl's here. He's shoving people. My girl.
It's like, how
may
will
work.
they know?
Yeah.
I'm not wearing green?
Yeah.
How will they know?
Yeah, it's a red jacket. Will wears red, not me.
His name is Scarlet.
It was so on the nose. Dude, that was your Technicolor thing right there. Like, as soon as he showed up, I was like, I wonder which one's Will Scarlet, right?
It's like Power Rangers. It's like they have to have different colors.
He's the only one that wears red.
I know. I just want to see another person try to wear red, and they're like, "No, that's Will's thing."
I was imagining like they're hiding out in the forest, right? Like
Yeah.
they've got
No.
the browns.
I'm gonna
Robin's got the green.
I just gotta ask a question real quick
Okay.
because, like, what? Like, they just roll up, right? Him and Will Scarlet, or I can't remember if there's a third guy, but they just roll up. I'm like Kevin Costner, like, we got this dark backstory. He was in the thing, and they came across, right? They just roll up on a dude getting beat up for killing a deer.
Yeah.
And you're like, where were you going? Where did you come from? Right?
Dude, he was just running in.
That dude is wearing the brightest red any human has ever seen.
And that's what I'm saying. Like they're supposed to be like all stealthy in the woods, and he's wearing bright red.
Yeah.
Anytime they like look at him, he just goes,
Yeah. He's
"Look at
like,
a giant cardinal over there."
it's like the Batman Robin thing where it's like he wears bright colors
Right,
so
right.
Robin Hood won't get shot at.
Yeah.
Will, you should wear red, man, and change
Your
your
last
name.
name is
It
Scarlet.
really
Oh,
brings
his-
out your
his-
eyes.
I was insinuating he changed his name too. Like Robin just told him everything.
Nah, he was like, Scarlet? We
should
can wear
work
more
with
red,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I wish my name was green.
Robin Green.
That's my thing, Will.
Okay,
So
so
Alan Rickman.
moving on.
So Alan Rickman.
Yeah. Moving on.
So we're 8-4 now.
Yeah, 8-4. This one I'm interested in.
Okay.
Marion.
Okay.
Better of the Marions.
Who wants
These
to-
both finally
No,
had a
no.
Marion.
I'm not on the end. Should I
That's
start
all
it
right.
off? It's
No, just go
weird.
first, man.
I'm gonna go with Prince of Thieves. I dig that one. The other one was there, but it was clearly just support for Errol Flynn because he was just the greatest thing in that movie, like the greatest character. The other one actually, like, she was cool at times. She was the damsel in distress at times. Like, she had more character to her, and it may be the movies of the time. Like, I don't know, right? Because we kind of talked about that with the Wolfman and Wolfman.
Yeah.
The differences, and so, but I'm gonna go with Prince of Thieves on this one.
Can I go?
Sure.
I'm gonna go Adventures of Robin Hood.
Well, tell me why I'm wrong.
I think she did have character. Like, she was just very proactive in her own plot.
Mhm.
Like, she's like, oh, there's stuff going down with the king. Prince John's gonna betray Richard. I gotta go find Robin Hood. Like, she gets kidnapped the first time, or not kidnapped, but like brought in with the rest of the group, right? And learns all about what they're doing. Is like, actually, I'm in. And so she goes back to the palace and stuff, but then she's in on the secret. She goes to them. It's like, I gotta find Robin Hood, tell him about all the stuff that's happening. Even if she ends up getting caught at the end, it's still like, she's doing stuff, and I really appreciated her character. And the fact that she is not like that she does ask about the golden arrow thing. She's like, this is weird, guys.
Yeah.
This is a bit on the nose. What are you doing right now? Are you sure this isn't a trap?
She knew. She said that.
You talking about when they're at the table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good scene though. That whole table scene when she's talking to him about that. She's like, well, how do we know you're not going to steal it?
Yeah.
And then he just yells it. What are we going to do with this? Whatever he says. They're like,
Yeah.
it belongs to King Richard.
Yeah.
And he's like,
But again,
need I say more?
but again, that moment, Errol Flynn moment.
It was.
She's there, but
Because he like
Errol
jumps
Flynn,
up on the table.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Mary Man!
Dude, sit down and have a conversation, bro.
Yeah. Dude, every scene.
Just
man.
sit. Just have a regular conversation.
No, because listen, legit, every
And the
time
bad guy's sitting next to him.
every time someone's trying to
That's how
talk to
cocky he
him,
is. Hey, we'll invite him.
no. Every
That's-
time someone tries to talk to him, he's like, "Hold on, I gotta jump on this rock real quick." Right? Like he's like on a tree limb, on a rock,
So-
on
He
a
has
table.
the high ground.
Okay, so you brought up. I didn't know when I was going to bring this up, but you brought it up. So they're doing the little party, the Rager. I made a comment about it. The Rager, because they just took out these guys, and so they're feeding all the merry men, the bad guys, Maid Marian, and then he's like, "Hey, do you want to go see all these people we didn't invite to the party? Let's go look at these people." And so then he shows them all these people that are sick and starving, and he's like, "I do it for them. Let's go back to that party, though." So then they walk back to the party, and I love it because she's just like, "I think I love him now," and he's just like, "Look at all these people. I do it for them, Mary." But he's like, "But not right now. Like later, I'll do it for them." Like I was cracking up. Man.
Yeah, that is really funny. But the detail in that is that they all did have their food. And they all did have their drinks. So they weren't just like nothing. I know, I get what you're saying, but I'm saying like why the overall story was still good about that is that
it just made me laugh.
Yeah.
Because he was like, "Hey,
The atmosphere changes.
this
when you
party's
go over
fun.
there.
You want to go see something sad and fall in love with me?" And then he
Right.
comes back.
Well, so that scene is why I choose Marion from Adventures of Robin Hood, is because I liked how she went through like from the beginning where she was sitting at the table with the king, or would be king,
And now
acting
she's
king.
sympathetic
and she's like just listening to him, saying things to him, and they're having their little banter, and she's like, "Ugh, this guy," right? And then gets caught up in the whole thing, sees it, and it's like, you know what?
the guy fighting people with a beer. She's
Yeah,
like,
you are doing it for those guys.
Oh, bless me.
Yeah, I give it the same vote for the same like that same scene
Hmm.
because like it's so clear how disdainful she is towards him, right? Like she's like kind of annoyed by him and put off, and then that scene happens, and you can see it like it's a real subtle shift. Like she doesn't just like suddenly start fawning over him, but you can see in her face that like her regard of him has changed, and that's good acting, man.
Yeah, and it started when they were at the table and they were eating, and he's like, "Eat," and she's like, "Nah, I ain't gonna eat your food." And then she starts stuffing her face, and he's like, "Ha ha ha!"
Yeah,
And
I
she's
like how you eat.
Watch me jump on the table.
Yeah. How many times can we say the word mutton?
Yeah. So anyway, but you're right with the other Marion. She does have a bigger role.
Yeah, I may have misspoke. Like they both have this like compassion arc. I like that. I just feel like the Prince of Thieves ones hit a lot more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Fair.
if all honesty, I feel like I can say it because we've already judged the Robins. She had more complexities than Kevin Costner's Robin Hood.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's why I picked her as my favorite Mary Marian. Like,
No, I get it.
Yeah,
She was also a good Marion, but I just liked how they did that.
it was a good scene. It made me laugh, not because it was stupid. It was just funny to picture him like, "You want to go see something?"
Right.
I didn't like how they forced the connection between her and Costner's Robin Hood.
With Peter, the buddy that
Where they're
dies at
like,
the
"Is
beginning.
this the same boy that was setting my hair on fire?" Whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
He's like, "That's not me anymore."
He-
Like, I made a note.
I would have liked it more if like she would have like said that and like looked over and he was like,
Yeah.
"No, that's not me."
Like, I made a note about how
Putting up
he's
a
not
fire.
as suave as Errol Flynn. So, like, that part was weird. Because they are making that connection
Yeah.
of, like, you're just a jokester. Like, how Errol Flynn's viewed as a jokester.
I feel like that's one of those Winston jokes where like you go a little too far if you like a girl setting her hair on fire.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Pour juice next to her shoe.
Right. Okay. Where are we at now?
I don't know.
Yep.
We're at
Yeah. Okay. Supporting cast. I put of Merry Men, but that was just for me personally because I don't want to count only the Merry Men. I think they all have good general supporting casts beyond just
all right,
that.
can I start?
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead.
Wait,
All right.
wait. What's the category?
Supporting
cast.
cast.
Supporting
Just in
cast.
general. Everyone
Right.
that doesn't
One.
fall into those first three.
Super bright red Will Scarlet, right?
Okay.
2, every time those dudes jumped out of trees, they jumped out of trees.
Yes.
In the old Flynn one, like that gets my vote. Like I liked Little John in the newer one. But beside that, I didn't really care for like, most of them were just nameless faces, right? Will Scarlet was super annoying.
Yeah.
When they almost killed him, I was like, just kill him.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I thought that was gonna be like his redemption moment. Like he was gonna nod or something and be like, "Yes, you can blow up the barrel I'm tied to."
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, cool."
Shoot it. And he's just like, all right, yeah.
I was excited for it, but instead, no.
and he
No,
does,
because they're brothers now.
and he
So
does
he's
about
like,
as good a job of like portraying an Englishman as Costner does,
Yeah.
right? Like, but like I like the old dude in the original one, and Will Scarlet was hilarious. And like legit, like those dudes, like they would be up in the tree, and they would like with abandon, man, just jump on dudes.
Yeah.
They were.
And there's guys pointing swords in the direction. They're like, I don't care.
And when you say,
We'll
hey,
dodge 'em.
they were called his merry men, I believe it.
Yeah, they were merry.
Oh yeah, everything was funny, right?
Yeah.
You were talking about that when we were
Yeah,
watching
it got kind of tiring after a little bit. Every single thing anyone says is the funniest thing that anyone has ever said.
We're all poor. It's just like, all right, man.
Johnny over there's got syphilis.
Why does it burn? Merry man. Oh, okay.
Merry men.
Yeah.
But they're married men.
Bobos, dude.
Go down the line.
I think that that the Adventures of Robin Hood definitely had their focus on what they wanted to do with this movie.
Mhm.
So like the merry men, let's make them merry,
Yeah.
right? Even when it comes to the color, because they knew they were going to do a Technicolor movie.
Yeah.
They're like, we got to
everything's
brighten
colorful.
everything up. They brightened the grass to make it brighter. You know, like they knew what they wanted to do with the movie, and they went for it. The Costner was not so much there. It was. I think it had some moments that were out of focus of what they were trying to accomplish.
Mhm.
And we might talk about some of that stuff later. I don't
No.
know. So my favorite supporting cast was also the Adventures cast, because we're counting the bad guys too.
Yeah, because they had some extra like barons and stuff that were fun.
Yeah,
More so than the sheriff.
Aside from Rickman, who again, like, he was great, but he was over the top.
We're not there yet.
Well, he's part of the
This
supporting
is
cast.
this is Merry Men, the Merry Men, right?
This whole cast.
Just supporting
Oh,
cast.
gotcha. Supporting
okay,
cast.
whatever.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman, who is Morgan Freeman, but his accent was,
That's a rough term for
Right.
this.
yeah.
I should have went first.
You're going with them, huh?
Just you finish. I should have went first.
So it had a good cast, like very well known characters, or not characters, actors, but they didn't nail their parts.
It was out of sync with
Right.
what's going on.
With Adventures, I think they all nailed their parts. Whether it was a good part or a bad part is a different story. But what they were doing all fit in perfect with the movie as a whole. So I think that's why I vote for them. Go ahead, Hayden.
Oh my! I don't want to go.
You want me to go?
I'll go. I'm going with Prince of Thieves, not because of Will Scarlet. I hated Christian Slater in this role.
It's pretty terrible.
But the other characters, Little John, Fanny, Akeem, like if we're battling Merry Men to Merry Men on who was accurate, you know how you broke up the Robin Hood categories? That's a different argument. And I feel like you guys are going for accuracy. Like accurate Merry Men. You know, they're merry, they're jumping out of trees. It's like, all right, you know, it's comic book accurate, and I get that. But with Akeem and all these other side characters that builds the story, I mean, I do. I feel like Kevin Costner, even though I love him so much, is one of the weaker characters, where all these other characters
Are outshining him.
yeah, like he needs them because he's just being Kevin Costner. Where Errol Flynn, man, they got to come along. Like, he didn't need any of those guys. But if we're talking, I don't know if this is a category. If we're going Will Scarlet, I mean, OG Will Scarlet is Will Scarlet. He's laughing with him. He's being buddies. There wasn't this, like, I mean, I made a note. I was just like, what is Will Scarlet's deal? Because he's like, you don't like this guy, and then he's your brother, and that's why you don't like him? Like, why the brother thing? It's weird.
It's the
It's
same
weird.
thing. It's why I had a problem with the Maid Marian. Like, they're like forcing these connections. Like, you don't need that if your story can stand on its own.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're trying to force drama, and it just doesn't work for me. Right? Like I'm like,
And that's fine. I mean,
who cares?
But I'm going Prince of Thieves with supporting characters. But
If his head had blown up.
But
that
if we
would've
were
been
doing Merry Man to Merry Man, I feel like, one's Merry Man and one's just a merry tribe. And they're doing more living in the woods and stuff. Like, I like that accuracy of it, right? Because like the OG Merry Man, we see him in the trees for that one scene. They they jump out, ambush him, and the next time we see them, they're in a tavern. We're like, this group's like, no, we're straight up living in Sherwood.
No, it's not in a tavern. He not only are they eating outside in the woods.
Joe's going again, sorry.
Are they eating outside in the woods? And then he takes them to where all the people who are sick and wounded are being cared for in the woods. Don't say they went to the tavern.
They go to the tavern for like their
meetings.
Their meetings.
I mean, I watched the movie today. I'm just saying, like,
yeah, it's they had to go get the
booze,
booze, man.
Already.
Okay. Well, the other one had like the tree houses and stuff. They were living in the woods.
Yeah, they did have that. I thought that was pretty cool how they were actually in the trees, because they go to the trees and then they go.
But we're not like, this isn't a discussion of accuracy for which.
I feel like it also was a point of like, we need some more drama, right? Like, what if what's his face's wife gets stuck on a building or a tree that's on fire, right? Because like that's they don't really use the tree houses very very much, and not effectively. Like they get raided almost. Hey, we built all this stuff. Burn it all down.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, Joe. But like, I thought it was cool. And so I'm going to go with Prince of Thieves. Okay.
I'm also going Prince of Thieves. So.
Well, don't tell Joe. But
so Will Scarlet is the big outlier here of 100 times better in The Adventures of Robin Hood.
Okay, I was about to say. I was like,
yeah, and absolutely,
bro. Christian Slater, Joe, get him.
No. I also think the witch mom was like needless.
Yeah. So I was gonna wait for that. I didn't know if we had a category for it, but yeah, I was gonna can I go ahead and do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do we care about the cultist stuff at all? Like, was it needed?
I keep forgetting it is in there.
Yeah, I just I don't know.
Especially because like as wild and weird as she is, like you already got Rickman like overplaying it, and like she is unnecessary if he's that unhinged.
And then the twist, it's like, I'm your brother, and then 5 minutes later, I'm your mom. Like, I was just like, who is gonna be like someone else is gonna be like, I'm your son, Robin Hood. Like I was like waiting for
Hakeem's like, I'm actually your father.
Yeah, I was like, when does it end? I was like, is this Game of Thrones? Like I didn't understand. Okay.
So the mom, I mentioned it when we were watching it. Like she's doing all these wild things, right, to see her visions or whatever.
And she says that people.
Yeah, and then her answer is like,
Porky's.
You might try this.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't need to cut yourself open and spit on the thing.
She's
and
putting blood on the dominoes and stuff.
Yeah, it's like
I thought it was
just give the advice. That's all. Like that's all you're doing is giving advice.
I would actually just financially make a decision. It's just like, Mom.
And like they come out of nowhere with the painted man like prophet, like he's gonna be because legit, like if she sees, she knows he exists. Like your whole army kills him, you're good to go, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Again, this is why I'm going back to it. Like it kept feeling like they were like forcing stuff in to like give these connections and to like build the drama. It just didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't need it.
Yeah, and this is why I'm so confused when I mentioned at the beginning.
Well, you don't have Errol Flynn. You got to just throw everything you can in the pot.
He'll give you drama.
Yeah,
but
he'll just give you.
I remember watching the movie and being like, "Wow, this is a great Robin Hood movie." And again, like it was such a big hit, so everybody thought so.
Yeah.
And rewatching it, it's like, wait, what? This is not that good of a movie.
It's honestly, it is all of the problems. I think that like why movies have changed since the 90s is because the 90s, and I think this is one of the ones that like drove it to that place, was it started to become more about spectacle than storytelling, right? And we're starting to see. Like in a weird vein, like this is one of the problems people have with like Star Wars and Marvel, like because it's not so much spectacle in that case, it's whatever agenda they're pushing instead of good storytelling. And I think that like Hollywood in general just has this problem. Like why do people come to watch movies? Because of the spectacle. So they give us a bunch of spectacle. We're like, that was terrible, right?
Yeah.
But we come because we want good storytelling, good cinematography. Like, if all these things are good, we'll appreciate and we'll support the thing.
You know,
Tell us-
judge
tell us
the
honestly.
Robin Hoods.
Tell us honestly,
Huh?
did you build a treehouse and pretend to be Robin Hood?
Yes. Yes.
So I figured you would.
I mean, you can ask my dad. Like, we had some land.
Still
I always
there.
build forts and stuff. It probably is. But yeah. And so you're going with Prince of Thieves, though?
So I'm going Prince of Thieves. Yeah. So like I mentioned earlier, Will Scarlet's a big outlier.
He's just bad.
He's bad. I think the scene that he confesses that he's the brother is funny, partially because of him and how dumb that scene is. Partially because Kevin Costner's character has just the incredible line of, I wish I wrote down the exact line. It's so funny
Let's see.
because he's like, where did this unnatural hatred come from?
Oh yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it's for me specifically come from you, or whatever he says.
He said, "What did I do?"
Yeah, what did I do to deserve this hatred from you?
It'd be funny if he was
Um,
like, "You set my hair on fire."
No, he said, "Like, have I hurt you in another life?"
Yeah. It's some real weird stuff. And partially I want to say, man, you're a rich boy. That's why.
Yeah, dude.
That's exactly why he hates you.
All the rich boy comments.
But really, he didn't have a reason, right? Like,
Yeah.
he didn't do anything to him.
Yeah. Yeah, not specifically, but like just that idea of like, because you're rich, that's why he hates you. And I think that would have been a good enough idea
they tried to say
explore.
that it was because when he wouldn't accept the new wife
His dad pushed
and
him.
child, his dad, he had to watch his dad like heartbreak and die, like basically
Yeah.
die. Like, he wasn't really living anymore because his beloved son wouldn't accept that he found another love or whatever.
Yeah.
But
And
last time we
that's-
saw his dad, he's fighting cultists. He's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's the actual reason. I'm saying
Right.
a much better reason would have just been because you're rich.
Yeah.
And that would have worked better for the theme of Robin Hood, of
Right.
redistributing that wealth.
Was it hat on a hat?
Mhm.
They're like, we got to make you a brother. And he's like, why?
Yeah.
Well, because that's secretly Alan Rickman's mom. And all
We
this
gotta
stuff,
do
like,
another
like they
one.
already had all these twists. Like, it's like, well, I want a twist. It's like, well, you can be the brother.
He's got to be a mirror of the villain, man.
Yeah.
But besides those two
Hmm.
characters, I think Prince of Thieves did a much better job using its time to flesh out those other characters. Like, I really liked this.
Name
Little
them all.
John. I like Little John more. I liked the Fanny, the wife.
He's just trying to get you.
Yeah.
Keep
I don't know,
going.
I've seen too many Robin Hood movies.
You didn't vote the way you wanted. He's
Jamie
just trying to
Foxx
get you.
was awesome in it.
I
Taryn
like
was
Morgan
pretty good.
Freeman. I really
That's not his name.
Akeem.
Akeem. Thank you.
No,
I
it was
Elijah one.
Azim.
Azim.
Azim, yeah.
Azim.
I liked Morgan Freeman's character.
Wait,
It is
Mor-
Akeem.
Yeah.
You've been saying Hakeem this whole time, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
finish.
sorry.
Finish.
I was trying to help you out.
I think Morgan Freeman's character is such an interesting character, especially for this movie and period of like, his character is the fact that he is from, another land. Like, he is darker than everyone, and they make a point of that.
Mhm.
And he is a very different religion from everyone else, and they make a point of that.
Mhm.
And I just thought that was interesting for
Yeah.
a movie like this.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool what they ended up doing with it. I like that a lot. Whereas with the Adventures of Robin Hood, I can give you Will Scarlet, and I can give you maybe Prince John and the sheriff. But otherwise, all of the characters just kind of blend together as the Merry Men to me.
Mhm.
Like, they all started sounding the same dialogue-wise, which I was like, oh, I could not remember which one was Little John.
I
genuinely.
also,
Unless I
that's
was
the
seeing
idea.
one using a staff, I was like, they're
I
all kind
also-
of the same.
I also preferred the Friar Tuck and Prince
Yeah,
of Thieves.
that's the other one I was thinking of. That was like, I wrote this down, but don't have the notes.
I will say my favorite part in Adventures though with Friar Tuck is when he does the got your nose thing.
Yeah,
I
that
made
was
a note
great.
of it.
That was Mr. Miyagi.
Dude,
Um,
got him.
got him. Yeah, I also liked Friar Tuck more. I thought his religion thing was just funny.
Is that a category?
Friar
Best Friar
Tuck?
Tuck?
Religion?
No,
Oh.
we're done with characters after this.
Religion, is that a category?
Religion.
Buckle your seats, kids.
So yeah, I'm giving it to Prince of Thieves.
Okay.
Prince of Thieves.
So what do we have another category?
Man, we
There's
Yeah,
got
we
like
got more.
5
Okay.
more.
Five
now.
more.
All right. Well, let's go.
Yeah, we got 4 more.
All right.
Oh, 4 more.
We got 4 more. All right. Adaptation of the entirety of like the mythos, like story wise, how
Oh.
Robin Hood works usually.
I think this was a close one.
That world
Yeah.
and that. Yeah,
I don't want to go first.
All right.
Sorry.
I will go first.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I think I'm going not Prince of Thieves, Adventures.
Okay.
Because one, it gets to the Robin Hooding and just sticks to the Robin Hooding the entire movie.
Mhm.
The tournament is a classic Robin Hood thing. The stealing from the rich, give it to the poor, just right off the bat, we're doing that. I think the loyalty to Richard the Lionheart thing, which we keep coming back to, is that an actual Robin Hood thing?
Richard Lionheart?
It's got to be.
Like,
Yes.
I know he's part of like the mythos, but like Robin Hood specifically being so loyal to him, is that a
Yeah.
thing?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
That one always felt a little weird to me, just for what Robin Hood kind of means. But maybe that's
It's-
more
it's
looking at it
because-
in a modern context of like,
It's because Richard Lionheart was a just
Yeah.
leader,
yeah.
right? And he treated everybody from the wealthy.
I
to
mean,
the-
he does say as soon as he shows up in Adventures of Robin Hood that he's just gonna do away with. What's
Oh,
he
yeah.
say?
He
He's
says-
like, I'm gonna do away with evil or something.
No,
Like, there
it's,
will be no more turmoil in my
it was like
kingdom.
classism or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Just make him
It's banished.
Yeah, I banished the wrongdoing.
He was basically saying, "I'm going to end racism. Like it's done, guys. Don't even worry about
In
it."
a movie with no Azim,
Yeah,
they're gonna
Yeah.
banish racism.
it was.
We
it was-
did, boys.
Whole white cast, we're gonna stop racism. Like, what do you mean by stop?
I don't remember what the actual wording was, but
I
that's
love peace. I will kill however men, women, and children it takes
Yeah.
to achieve it.
Okay.
But I'm going Adventures with Robin Hood. I feel like it tells a very classic Robin Hood story,
Mhm.
whereas Prince of Thieves, it goes a little bit more into the romance with him and Marion, which
Mhm.
is also classic Robin Hood.
Yeah.
I'll give it
We're here
that.
for the Bow Bros.
Yeah, we're here for the Bow Bros. Exactly.
So are you gonna go next?
Oh,
Or should we come
We're
around?
still
You
trying
go
to
last.
decide.
yeah, go.
Okay.
This is hard for me.
I'm also going to give it to the Errol Flynn version, especially because you were like, I got to the Robin Hooding quicker and hit the rob from the rich and give to the needy. It was really hard for me to believe that in the Costner one when he brings her into a hut
It's
in the
just
trees,
full of it.
full of golden treasure, right? Like,
Yeah, it's like
so when do we give? Right? When do we give to the needy?
Well, that was supposed to be Richard's, right? That's what I understood.
Yeah, it's
Well, no.
no, they were using it to
so in
hire.
in Adventures, Richard was they needed ransom money.
Uh-huh.
In Prince of Thieves, he was just busy on his way back. So
Mhm.
like Joe's right. Like they weren't.
They were just collecting it.
They were just setting on it. Yeah.
They were.
We're going to
Yeah.
redistribute it.
If I remember,
We're going to redistribute
Yeah.
Just not yet.
it. Yeah.
Not
I got to
yet.
impress his girl
Can't do it
first.
during wartime.
I got to impress his girl first.
Okay.
Right, Azim?
Okay.
And he's like,
You go
save that
When's that ship
to
coming?
die
Azim?
for.
to die for.
I would die for you.
All right. So you're going Adventures.
You know it's true.
Bird?
I go with Adventures. Yeah, for sure. Best Robin Hood tale. He didn't get to Robin Hood. He didn't get to Robin Hooding. He was Robin Hood from the
Yeah.
beginning.
He was Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it had everything. It
It's
had
like Spider-Man Homecoming. It's like we don't need to see Uncle Ben die.
the only thing that it
Just
didn't.
fight people with a deer.
The only thing that it didn't have was like the sheriff that I was used to.
Yeah.
But apparently, this is the sheriff that is more in line with the actual stories.
Yeah.
Because that's what we see more of in the movies. So yeah, definitely Adventures.
Plus, he didn't have a treasure room.
Yeah.
No treasure room.
All right.
Instant up.
I think I can answer now. So I already talked about how much I loved how they actually fleshed out Sherwood and they fleshed out all this other stuff. But I think because of the weird cultist stuff that you don't need, the stuff like that, like just we don't like this Robin Hood. Like once you factor in all that other stuff, the classical feel of Errol Flynn, I think it is. It's just better. Like
There's not as much bloat.
and all the stuff they probably didn't hit on. I mean, it was just maybe at the time they just that's a big set, right? Like they can't do that or they can't, And so it's like once you factor that in,
and he proved that he's the best archer.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I had a whole thing about that, like, and I don't know if we're gonna get into it. How they took out the tournament, so then he has like the crazy shot is like when he's hitting the rope for the little kid at the end. And like I don't know, like
Bites off the fletching off that one.
Yeah, like
that part was cool.
No, it's not cool. Like that thing's not going to do what you want it to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a cool idea.
Yeah.
I guess so.
And so like, but I'm not picking Adventures because of the tournament. Because the tournament for me was just, I mean, we've already made jokes about it and stuff. It was just laughs for me. But we're not battling that. It's the core story, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I could pick and choose, like Alan Rickman, Little John, like all these characters in Prince, I'd choose those, but I would put them in this story.
Yeah.
This like already.
This movie would be wild. To have Rickman in it.
It just had like an updated cast, but they somehow keep Errol Flynn.
Errol Flynn and Rickman.
Yeah. Errol Flynn, Rickman.
They're just both talking trash to each other the whole time.
The new modern Little
That'd be
John
great.
and all this stuff. Like
He's got fan there.
Azim and Errol Flynn just keeps going.
He's in Technicolor too.
I guess we are gonna stop racism, I guess. So I'm gonna go Adventures as well. I know it's a sweep. But this was tough for me, but I think once I start breaking down it's just the world. Because I'm not even thinking characters, just yeah.
And I'm just coming to this realization right now. But I caught it watching Prince of Thieves. It takes him 2 shots to hit that first rope, right?
Yeah.
The first time, he doesn't hit it because that knight or whatever, the guard, is coming to stop him. When that is very specifically the thing he talks about in the scene way earlier in the movie. It was like, but can you make the shot when it matters?
Right.
And like, that would have been the perfect moment to conclude that. Yeah. But instead, it's like, no, he still can't make the shot the first
It's not.
I don't like that either. But also, he didn't not only miss, he had to get closer.
Yeah.
To actually hit.
It's not the Russell Crowe killing Godfrey moment.
Yeah, I think that he proved that he was a good archer.
Yeah. And swordsman, which we'll get to that, right?
Sure. Well, we got 3 more categories.
Okay.
Jeez.
Go through these. Let's get them. These should be easier.
All right.
Should.
Pacing, script, and dialogue. Adventures.
No, I'm going to have to give it to the newer one. I had some problems with the Adventures because they didn't show. They just straight up told stuff.
That's
like
true.
they would just info dump stuff. And I was like, that was unnecessary, right? Like, and I'm not talking just the text streams.
Yeah.
I'm talking like legitimately they would like info dump. They'd be like walking and they would just say the thing that was going to like give you the background instead of like, at least the Costner one like played out the story and built up to things.
I'm gonna say pacing wise though, that kind of hurt it sometimes, like to the point where they start unnecessarily adding things.
Yeah, but also like I feel like the pacing goes back to the problem that we have, kind of like with the Crow one. Like it took too long to get to the Robin Hooding because we're actually establishing and setting up. It works in the end, but like. The old one, like scream, and then hey, we're walking, info dump, right? And then like a little scuffle, info dump, right? And so they're just like skipping the line.
And the fact that they didn't do an origin with him, like they started right in with him being cool Robin Hood, then they didn't need to rush.
He was cool,
so they didn't need to rush. Okay.
Yeah, so that's some of the problems that obviously that are in the older movies, because we had the same thing with the Wolfman movie.
Yeah, I had the same problem there too.
Where they're just not Wolfman.
I know. I just like saying Wolfman.
Okay. Where they just tell you something. But that was you mentioned it at the beginning where there was a different style of movie making in the 1930s and 40s.
Yeah, I'm not blaming them.
Right.
Like, and I can see how we got to where we are. But as far like for me, if we're looking at good storytelling, I think that the Costner one does more good storytelling than the other. I think even if the pacing is a little slower, I think it still is setting up and paying off better than the Flynn one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, I can see that. I disagree, and I vote for Adventures, but I can see what you're saying. I just an hour and 47 minutes was enough to tell the story, not 2 hours and 17 minutes or whatever it was.
You got to make time for a zine.
Yeah.
Well, no, and I really think it's legitimately like the connection to Marion and the connection to like establishing Kazim to make sure that he has a reason to be there. Like all these things, they pay off, right, in the end. And so it's good that they did it, but it bloats the time.
Yeah.
Right. And
I watched the extended. I watched the extended version.
Oh,
That's like
man,
10
I'm
extra minutes.
sorry.
But at no point did I think it was too long.
Yeah, I would take the extended
Yeah,
time
but is the
for good
payoff
storytelling.
is the payoff even worth it? Because I don't think it was worth it in some of the stuff.
I don't know, man. I still enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed both of them. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
He's not taking away the enjoyment. The question is, and he's got a good point. Like for me, like for my view of storytelling and stuff, I understand the bloated runtime, and for me that doesn't cause any problems pacing wise.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the new one or the old one, the Errol Flynn one, like I feel like they're skipping 2 parts. They're instead of pacing, they're just rushing to the things that they want to show us, which is fine. Like again, that's
I want to show the stuff.
It's
but
fun.
still.
yeah. And there's movies today that do similar things just because there's bad writers or whatever, or bad directors, even worse.
Yeah.
But I just think that for me it worked better in the Prince of Thieves than it does for the Adventures.
Did you go?
Yeah,
I voted Adventures, which I'll just say that I think that both of them had good pacing. I'm just gonna for the sake of like
Pacey?
2 hours. What's
Pacey?
pacey? Yeah.
Dawson's Creek, bro.
2 hours and 17 minutes is too much for the story.
It's too much fun to be had.
Well,
He's got to go to bed.
Yeah, he's
though.
got to go watch Mean Girls, the musical.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Things to do.
Yeah.
Dude, don't tell me that's what you watched.
He's got to go not watch Skeleton Crew.
I had to cleanse my palate.
I'm gonna go Prince of Thieves. Same reason Joe said. Like I do like the OG one, but it does. It's back when movies, like what all are you having to compete against, right? So you're not having to inject so much like substance into something because it's like, I can tell you if I was alive in the 40s, this would be one of my favorite movies, right? Like, it's a good movie.
This movie is like in a bunch of the must-watch before you die type list.
Yeah.
Like best movies of American movies ever made. Like this movie's on that.
But
on the
Prince
list.
of Thieves, I watched the extended one today, and at no point did I feel like this is too long. Like,
and Prince of Thieves is on most dads' must-see.
yeah. And so I'm going Prince of Thieves as well.
Okay.
So.
I already voted Adventures.
You did?
Yeah, he started.
Okay.
off.
You said Avengers?
So 2 and 2
He went
on that one.
Avengers.
All right.
Avengers.
Go family.
Go,
Go
yeah,
family.
let's go.
They
That's
both-
not
After we've
family.
been like fighting the whole episode.
he was needing to watch Mean Girls and he was needing to finish a book.
Exactly, yeah.
Palate cleanse.
Yeah. There was so much reading in Adventures that then it made me want to go read an actual book.
I got you.
I was like, okay.
It was a lot of reading.
Yeah. All right. Music score.
Oh, I'll go Prince of Thieves.
Is it because of Bryan Adams?
No,
'Cause that
right
wasn't
out of the
until the
gate.
end.
There's a reason Disney uses that music for
That's
like
true, they
their
do.
DVD trailers and all this stuff. Like, as soon as I heard it, it was like a rush of like, remember how happy and like safe you were as a kid with like this music and stuff, and like and it's throughout the whole movie. Where Errol Flynn, I couldn't even tell you like what it reminded me of, or no, it's not just Bryan Adams.
Yeah, for me, the Errol Flynn, the music in Errol Flynn, like sounded and felt like a lot of the music from movies of that time. Like if you
At a time when there wasn't as much variety.
there wasn't, and again, it's a different period, but like I've watched several movies from that time period, and like it just all sounds kind of the same. Plus, man, Bryan Adams.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Also Bryan
Prince of
Adams.
Thieves.
Yeah, I'm a toss up on this one.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I didn't. Aside from that intro being like the main thing, the rest of the music was fine. For Prince of Thieves, the music was also fine on Adventures. Like it was the old timey. It was like
It's like watching an old episode of Tom and Jerry.
yeah. Like
I mean, that's what it felt like with like the
added,
sheriff and stuff.
Yeah, it added to like the quirkiness that's in the movie. Like it was there with the music too, which is fine because it works for the movie. But like, it's not my favorite thing.
So you just didn't enjoy either of them really. So that's why it's hard for you.
Musically,
I thought it was hard for you to pick because they were both so great. Yeah, you're like, I don't care about either of these.
There wasn't a single rap song in either.
They didn't have Eminem at the end of Prince of Thieves. What in the world?
You're gonna love Men in Tights, man.
You gotta have the white rapper.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that Men in Tights.
Because they're in England, right?
Yeah.
White
yeah, like Michael Kamen doesn't. There's nothing that he's really done that's been like Michael Kamen.
Yeah.
He's got some hits.
Not score wise.
Not score wise. Bryan Adams. All right.
Yeah.
So if I have to choose, I'm gonna say Prince of Thieves also.
It was a long way to get to the right answer.
Bryan Adams song, though. Yeah,
that was a long way to get to the right answer.
But it's not because of the score; it's because of Bryan Adams.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to copy everything you just said. I also was not like super interested in either score, which is weird, especially for me.
Yeah.
I'm like real into the scores.
Yeah.
I kind of want you to listen to Prince of Thieves again.
Yeah, I mean, it just came off as
you didn't
maybe because I've seen it used so often now.
But
part of it was I did feel like it was used a little too much in the movie. Like there were some scenes where I was like, it should be quiet right now.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish we were getting to see this conversation between Marion and Robin just in some silence. It would hit a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
But instead we have to have these strings in the back to tell us, oh, there's a romance here.
Right.
I like the signaling. You know what I'm saying? I mentioned it before.
I think it works sometimes.
I like Midnight Madness, right? Like when the girl first appears, like
yeah,
sure, that's song.
The music signaling. I love it.
All right, what were we on?
Music
we're
and
moving
score.
real quick.
Category.
I'm gonna give it to Prince of Thieves, I guess, because it was at least more interesting.
Sweep.
Bryan
Adams. Last one. Directing, cinematography, choreography.
Okay, who's going first? We're all.
I'll go. Because even if you guys disagree, I don't care.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Prince of Thieves.
We disagree.
I'm gonna go with
invalidated.
I'm gonna go with Prince of Thieves on this one for the movie as a whole. But I gotta say, when it came to the sword fight, the Errol Flynn sword fight.
They're so good.
I mean, that's why. I mean, there's no contest. Errol Flynn would wipe the floor with Kevin Costner's Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Not just bows. Like, I mean, if he swung in close combat, he's got him, dude. Like, and the fact that he's so confident with his fighting, and Kevin Costner had to fight 5 guys and then complain to Azim about it.
Dude, and
it was like, you were praying, you should have helped me.
Every time
Errol Flynn would have been like, bring 5 more. Like, he wouldn't have cared.
Every time Flynn like jumped on something, like rock, table, limb, like he looked like he belonged there, right?
Yeah.
Costner, he'd be like standing on the log, you're like, that dude's gonna fall off.
Yeah.
Dude, he hopped up effortlessly at the beginning and was just like, I'm going to get out of here and all this stuff. And he's like shooting dudes at that doorway. And and so, but cinematography, long away shots, all this stuff, like clearly it's a problem of the time, right? It's an older movie. And so it's always weird to vote against it because it's like.
And they had to leave a lot of that stuff out because of Technicolor.
Yeah.
Budget, man.
But I'm going to go with Prince of Thieves for obvious reasons. But I had to say the duel was way better in Adventures.
It was a good duel.
Yeah, so I have in my notes that the action is way better in the Adventures Robin Hood. The one-on-one fights, the group fights were not as good.
It was funny.
Yeah. It was funny.
Dudes jumping out of trees.
It was giving me... It gave me like the end of Blazing Saddles vibes when they're all fighting through the different sets. Like that's what it reminded me. Where it's just like it's so much that you almost want to keep rewatching it to watch every little person to see.
Yeah, because they're all doing something different.
Yeah.
I mean, I was actually super impressed by. the stunts that they did.
Yeah, there's like 50 married men.
I
Dude,
mean,
that
like,
one dude
the
just
fact that-
climbing that.
yeah,
vine,
with his hands.
just his arms. Dude,
Yeah.
that guy, I was like, that guy is buff.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy should be leading.
No,
That
they
dude
were
should be Little John.
they were super
Big
athletic.
John.
They were very athletic.
And like you said, Errol Flynn, like he was just, I easily bought into him being able to do all the things that he did because he did everything so effortlessly. Jumping on whatever he was jumping on when he just jumps on the table, like no problem. He was tall, so like he had these long legs where he could just jump on stuff and climb on things.
Yeah.
And
What it reminded me of, the fact that he was so perfect to wage this war, right? Errol Flynn. It reminded me of like the Patriot, like Mel Gibson's character. How when the Revolutionary War starts, he already has a reputation. Like everyone knows him as this guy. They know him that he can do all this stuff. Where at no point did it come off that like they needed Kevin Costner, right? Like it was just like, I mean, this dude he can. Like if anyone was going to lead this group, like it needed to be this guy.
They're like
they would have failed.
They're eating dinner. They're like, he's got a treasure room, right?
Yeah, he shows it to that one girl.
yeah, I mean the scene where Kevin Costner jumps on the log and he's like, "I'm gonna lead you guys." Like I was like,
yeah.
Sure you are.
You, Will Scarlett, you gonna let this happen?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my brother. I'll back my brother up.
And that was the only time his shot was accurate, was when he shot him in the hand.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
and his own brother.
that's cool.
I got it when I need it. Yeah, I know
Credit for no reason.
it is different times, so it's hard to judge them
Yeah.
like one to one. I think I am going to give it to Adventures as well, primarily because of how hilarious it was to me every time those dudes jumped out of trees. Because like they jumped out with abandon, dude.
Yeah.
Like they were like jumping off, and they wouldn't even have weapons. They're just landing on dudes on horses, taking them to the ground,
Yeah.
and then just beating them
Well,
silly.
I have a theory about that because, and I always try to make things like explain how this is believable, right? So they're just living in the woods, like like they have bows for hunting and stuff. All that's believable, but like swords
Yeah, they're
and things like
peasants.
that,
Yeah.
swords and stuff like that, they probably just don't have those. And so they're legitimately in the trees with nothing because it's like, guys, we got to do this so then we have stuff. So that's why they're jumping with such abandonment. It's like,
This is your other
pass or
choice.
fail, this could be the only fight of
Right.
this revolution, because it's like we got to start this. Where like weirdly enough, Kevin Costner's guys, like it is. It's like, I mean, that's why he tells him, it's like, oh, so you're joining up with us? Like they already have a thing going. He's like, no, I'm going to lead you guys. What? Where Errol Flynn, he was like, hey, everyone come with me. He's like, but you're the only one with a bow. I'll get you guys bows.
Right.
Like he's like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Yeah,
And-
all those guys had was jumping out of trees, dude. That's all. I mean,
Dude, and I'm legit like the first time I watched them jump, I was like, "This is amazing." Like,
and that's what I'm talking about. Like I saw it, I was legitimately impressed. Like
yeah,
these guys are moving.
yeah.
Because I was
They were
expecting
very athletic.
it was very opposite actually from the Costner movie because there were scenes. All right, so the beginning where the king's coming out of the castle, right? He's on the horse, and then he charges toward the like five guys.
the cultists.
Yeah. And the shot is from like far away, right? Where it shows the horse going toward the guys. The guys are collapsing in on the horse.
Yeah.
It looked like they all just stopped once they got to their point. And then we're like, oh, hey, how's it going? Like, it's a pretty good shot, huh?
And it cuts to Alan Rickman.
Right.
Got him.
So, like, I was not impressed with that shot, right?
Yeah.
The
Plot
same-
twist is they then inducted him into the cult.
Yeah.
the
real villain is-
the mangy mutts.
He
that they had,
remarried.
right?
The witch was his wife.
When they
He's
first,
also your brother.
Step brother.
Stop with the
You want to talk about family drama?
Yeah.
All right, go on.
That's my fault. I'm sorry.
So the dogs, right? They're supposed to be these vicious mangy mutts that they have right at when he first gets to his house.
Release the hounds.
And yeah, you hear them barking, right? But every shot you see, they look like the most cuddly little dogs.
Yeah.
That just like all you see is you don't see their faces because good job on the director, I guess, on this part because he's cutting out what will clearly show us that like these dogs are just running around where you're telling them to run or calling them and they're going toward that area. Like they were not attacking the tree that the boy was climbing up. They went to the tree. They never like were like trying to climb it or anything like that.
They did not look vicious.
All the growls were obviously not coming. It was all like post stuff. So
and
like
clearly Costner has in his contract like you gotta do a bare butt scene, right?
I don't know why Robin Hood always has to be in water. Like in both movies, it's always water.
Well, that's how you take a bath.
But he's always like getting shoved in the water. Like, oh, you hit me in the water.
Because then if your string gets wet, how are you gonna shoot your bow?
But in the
So why is he
adventures,
getting wet?
in the adventures, it makes sense, right? Because they're dueling in the water.
Another great duel.
That duel was much better than the Little John Costner.
No.
Dude, you like that one better?
Yeah, they're like in the water, fist fighting, and he's like, I
duel
can't
was
swim.
Whack.
No, that was way better than the just, you're in. All right, ha we're buds. Like,
No, because
better sword fight and adventures.
I like that fight specifically because Robin Hood allows himself to be humbled.
Right.
He's like, oh yeah, you beat me. I'm going to recruit you now.
Right.
You're better than me, so
Yeah.
get behind me.
Because they were talking trash, which was fun. The fight itself like wasn't the best duel, but it was passable.
I mean, I'm just a sucker for
And that's what we love on this
big
podcast.
stick fights, so
Yeah, but when I compare it to the Costner one, I thought that one was just super choreographed. Like the hits, super fake. Like here's the hit.
They did move really slow.
Yeah, it was just super choreographed.
I think this is what you started out trying to like. The athleticism in the old one, the Adventures, is superior to the newer one, where they have better cinematography, better camera, not just equipment, but like methods and stuff. Like it could have looked so much tighter and better than it does.
Right.
And they just. I'm not saying it was bad. I still enjoy. I think that fight scene is funny, but it's not as it's the superior one is probably still the athleticism and stuff of the Adventures.
Yeah. So all that to say is that as far as the directing and everything, I think with what each director had at the time, Adventures was way better.
And it had Technicolor.
But that's what I'm saying. That's part of the
That's what he's saying.
cinematography, right? Like the color, like they knew that they wanted
only
everything
the rainbow
to pop.
can match it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they did. They worked on. They're like, no, we're gonna have bright colors. Let's make the bright colors.
His name's Will Scarlet. He's wearing scarlet.
Yeah. So I think everything made sense in that movie. It was two directors, so maybe minus points for that, but. Because they actually got rid of the original director and another guy finished it. But overall, the directing I think was better. The cinematography was better in the Adventures movie rather than the Kevin Reynolds version.
Oh, merry man!
Well, that's our categories.
We all voted?
I think so. I kind of lost track.
What did you vote? Because I didn't think you voted.
I voted Adventures.
Okay.
So
I was the only one that went for the Thieves on there.
I think so,
you
which is
voted.
fair. I see your points, but I mean, the audacity to show every movement of the sword fights, like just on screen. Like, yeah, we're just gonna show them going at it, and like even when they do cut, it's too specifically during that final duel. I'm thinking it'll cut to Robin, like his face, and then to the sheriff and his face, and the difference in their expressions. Like Robin Hood is still like, haha, I'm in a sword fight with you, and the sheriff looks like he is fighting for his life. Like he's
You talking about an Costner one?
no, the
Adventures.
Adventures. Like he's huffing. Like,
Well, it's a real fight.
I hope
'cause his
that I don't
sword's-
die right now.
It's a real fight because his sword's bent when he
Yeah.
goes and gets Marion.
Yeah, it
Marion
is.
like when he gets Marion, like his sword's bent,
Yeah,
which ain't a big issue.
but it's still like,
You know,
yeah.
like I would have like at the time I would have been like, oh, we got to get stronger props, but also it lets us know
They were
Real
hitting.
fight.
They were hitting
Yeah.
the swords.
you know, and
But
No,
those dudes like hated each other in real life.
Yeah.
It was a legitimately
I
good.
mean it
sword
was
fight.
a better duel.
But
hands down.
so another point against the Costner version is those weird like fisheye type shots that
There
like
were
up
quite
close.
a few of those.
You know what I'm talking about? Like it was real weird.
Fish eye.
It was
Yeah,
a
like-
very it was
like,
a very 90s
It
thing.
looked bubbly.
Yeah.
That's a fisheye look.
I know that's you. That might be your TV, man.
No, it was there. It was like a really 90s.
Yeah,
It was featured in all kinds of like commercials and TV.
and
Like
the faces would be up close like that, and then it would. It
Okay,
had a slight.
you're explaining something to me that I know what it is, but I watched the movie today. I don't recall.
it's like when
that.
kids
you
hold
remember
their
those-
camera above someone's forehead.
Yeah,
you
no, I know what
right,
you guys
it
are
is-
talking about.
Yeah,
But you know the shots sometimes when it's the faces.
foreheads.
I know what you're talking about.
No. Do you know the shots that I'm talking about in the movie?
He does
Like,
not. That's what
No,
he's explaining.
because I
They
don't
removed
remember any
those for
shots when it's
the
just the
extended
faces?
cut.
not in like fish lens.
Okay,
where it
forget
makes
the
it
fish
weird.
eye. Forget the fish eye. Do you remember the shots of just the faces?
Well, when like people's talking.
But like up close.
Yeah, like we even do it on this, like when people's talking. That's why I don't understand. But you said fish eye lens,
Well, it's got like
where it makes it weird and wide. Like I've seen that.
I know,
like,
but
music
it's not like
videos.
super exaggerated like in the music.
Like that
videos. It's a
Jamiroquai one?
slight.
Yeah.
Jamiroquai.
That's why. That's why I was like, I just didn't know. Like, maybe
No,
the
it's not
TV was
super
making
exaggerated like that. No, it's just a little bit. But the main thing is like
Yeah.
it's a weird. I just didn't like those shots. They just
Alright.
were weird shots in the movie that didn't make any sense.
I love that. Right out the gate, he was like, "I think you need to check your TV."
It. Yeah, because he said fish eye lens, and I was like, no, bro. And then it turned into just they're filming their faces. Well, yeah, when people talk, but you said fish eye lens. I was like,
Okay.
okay.
Was that all
Wait,
the
no.
categories?
I think Adventures won.
Adventures won.
Yeah.
Not by a lot. If I counted right, it only won by 6 points.
Yeah.
Wow,
I mean, that's
pretty close.
that's a pretty good amount.
Yeah.
So-
I mean,
Enough to be like, it's a victor, but
Yeah.
it was a pretty good fight between the two.
Okay. The Adventures of Robin Hood is
Yeah.
the better Robin Hood movie out of those two.
well, out of
according
these
to us.
two, yeah, because the final one,
The final one.
Which
is
we'll do at some
gonna-
point.
Yeah.
Later.
Well, I mean, let us know what you guys think
Yeah.
if that one's the better movie or not. We would love to know your thoughts. But we will battle out the animated version versus Men in Tights at some point. It probably won't be the next episode.
Yeah.
Next episode is going to actually be the Hulk.
We're doing Eric Bana, Edward Norton.
Yep.
Okay.
Adventures of Robin Hood wins this time. Let us know what you guys
Yeah.
think. Follow us on our socials, the Room Upstairs podcast, whatever social you're on. Look us up. But we're definitely on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, as long as it's around. And,
Oh, it's back. It's not
and
back.
Threads. And then we'll be on Red Note.
I'm just. I don't know.
Soon enough.
Now that TikTok's back, no, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna learn Mandarin.
Yeah, follow us, guys. We love talking about this stuff, obviously, and we'd love to hear your feedback on it. So follow us, let us know, and we'll see you guys next time.
You guys want to see my treasure hut?
Yeah.
That's fandom for you.
The spyglass that God himself invented,
Hey, Azim, that was pretty
Dude.
cool, man. He
And
was like
gunpowder.
and gunpowder.
way smarter than Robin, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've talked about how he wasn't a good Robin, but the fact that he's like designing cool stuff, and then he's just like, oh, the sword. It's like, dude, you're no Errol Flynn, man.
That was
Errol
funny,
Flynn
yeah.
would have just went, ha! And just accepted that now he has this ability. He would have went, this is grand, and then flew away with it.
Yeah, dude.
Errol Flynn wouldn't have missed a step. He would have been
No,
like, oh, a sight glass.
He would have just made up a name for it. Yeah.
I see you further, or whatever.
See you further.
Yeah. And then he just flings away with it.